Moving on to the actual probably game of the week. It is Baltimore heading to Buffalo. Baltimore, and I also did want to say, just in case people are listening to this later in the week and they're scratching their heads, we are recording on the 2nd of September. It is Tuesday, so it's a little earlier than we normally do. But Thursday, I'm going to be, ready for the game. Tomorrow, we're doing horse racing. So the lines might be a little skewed. If you are a little confused, that's why, again, as of Tuesday, these are the lines per Bovada. So with that being said, Baltimore at Buffalo, the Ravens are going to be 1-point favorites. Again, that could very well flip by the time the game starts. Who knows? But essentially a pick 'em, and the over-under sits at 50.5. The money line, Baltimore -115, Buffalo -105. Raider Jim, I'll give you the first bite at the apple. Baltimore, or of Sunday Night Football, Baltimore at Buffalo.
This is getting to be one of those rivalries, if you will, where people are going to stick with the script because eventually it's going to happen. 2 out of 3, 3 out of 5, 4 out of 7, 7 out, it's that thing. But here's what's happened. What is Lamar Jackson's history against Buffalo? He's won 1 time. He's lost 3 times. He's had 6 turnovers, including 4 interceptions and 2 fumbles, and he averages 179 yards passing per game. But he's only won once, and he's not going to win this time. And it's a money line game. You're just going to bet money line on this one. Give me Buffalo all day long on this one. I don't think it's even going to be close. I think that they are going to they're going to be that again, the horse racing. I can't get it out of my head. Buffalo's going to come out of the gate fast. They're going to build a lead, and then they're just going to keep pace and keep Baltimore at bay. I won't be surprised if they win by 4 to 6 points. By one of the harder stadiums to go in and win. You don't go into their house and beat them. They're not going to go into their house and beat them this time either. Great Sunday night game. If I have to go from summer to fall, might as well sit there and watch a game like this because that makes it a little easier for me to transition. I just don't see where Buffalo's got enough weaknesses to really be concerned about losing this one.
Yeah, this was a weird because I mean the odds makers are telling me that if we have a neutral site, Buffalo, Baltimore, that Baltimore's 4-point favorites. That's crazy to me. Because the normal 3 points for being at home.
Yes.
And now maybe you could say somewhat devil's advocate. Oh, well, it's September, Buffalo in September, at least weather-wise, blah, blah, blah. Now I get that. Trust me, if you're a team, you'd much rather face or go to Buffalo in September than November or December. I understand that. But Baltimore is one of the habitual slow starters. In I mean, really, the whole of the NFC North is essentially slow starters outside of the Steelers are fast starters, and everyone else, it seems like Steelers get out 5-1, everyone else 2-4, and then, the water eventually evens out. Baltimore, again, I brought it up earlier. They went down to the Raiders early last year at home.
Yep.
I think they are going to struggle early on. I think, as you mentioned, Lamar Jackson, it might take him a few, couple drives, maybe a couple game or two to really get focused, to get rolling. I like Buffalo here on the money line. Again, you kind of have to go money line unless you're a big believer in 1.5 or if it'll get that hook. Right now, I mean, it's 1 point. Like, enjoy your push, I guess. But I like Buffalo. I just think that's the pick that needs to be made. It's almost one of those, it's too obvious. I almost want to go the opposite way, the gambler overthinker in me. But I do like Buffalo, and I do like the over. Normally, I would take the under, especially in a game 50.5. However, I do think both of these offenses are just both trained to just eventually get big plays and kind of open things up. I'd be more hesitant on the over-under, but for the sake of the podcast, I will go over just because I did go under the first 3, and there's a lot of unders on my card, so I wanted to even that out. But I would not be surprised if we do stay under, because one really big kind of caveat is these are 2 teams that I think both are expecting to meet in the playoffs, so you don't want to put too much offensively on film. So maybe that's a point towards the under. So I'm not really making the greatest over case, but I do like Buffalo in this one. I think it's going to be a great Sunday night game. And I'm excited to see the continuation. I mean, these two are, I'm trying to think like it's almost like the Rockets and the Jazz back in the day fighting to see who can lose to Michael Jordan. That's kind of what Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen's rivalry has boiled down to. Who can win to then lose to Patrick Mahomes in the championship game? And I know that's kind of disingenuous, but I mean, that's just how it's been, unfortunately, for those two. So Buffalo minus 105 is, I feel like, a pretty good pick on Sunday Night Football.